thank you so much for meeting with me today, Paul.
Of course, I'm happy to be here, Teresa.
Awesome. Thank you. So can you tell our listeners about when we met and what was going on in your life at that time?
Sure. So we actually met when I was going through a kind of transition period. Basically, I was working for myself. It was back in 2015. You and I had met via LinkedIn. I was doing a marketing campaign at the time and did some outreach to coaches, and that's how you and I got in contact. Um, Originally, I just felt like a health issue that I had was basically holding me back from accomplishing everything that I wanted to in my business, which was something that you specifically helped people with. We started speaking about that. It turned out that there were a lot of ways that you were able to help me. In some ways, I was able to help you with your marketing business. But what made it actually what made it so much more beneficial than what I was actually expecting was originally I just was hoping to get some help with my health issue. I didn't realize how tied into my success, my confidence, my relationships, all these things that were tied to this one issue that I was having with my health. And once he and I started working together and started doing coaching, I slowly started to see a shift in myself, what I was able to create for myself in my business, but also what I was able to do for myself in my relationships. The transformation was just remarkable, and it continues to benefit me to this day.
Thank you so much for those words. They're beautiful words, and I remember so clearly our time together. And as you know, and as you experienced, I began all of my clients with the Energy Leadership Index assessment. Could you give some feedback on your experience with the assessment and the review process?
Yes. So the ELI was something that initially I wasn't 100% sure about, because Energy Leadership Index, I'm a very practical, rational person, and it just seemed like it wasn't something that initially sounded like, I don't know, Energy Leadership Index, what's this? But once we started to do it, there was the initial set of questions, and then of course there was the review process we did afterwards. I really discovered how valuable and accurate it was in describing not just the way that I am, but how likely I am to respond to certain situations. So what initially to me may have just seemed like, oh, here's another online test I'm going to take, was like, no, this is very detailed in understanding where you're at. Additionally, when we did the review session and you took the time to go through the assessment, see how it applied to me, and where we could use this as a foundation for our work moving forward. That's where I really saw the value that it would present, and how it would guide the rest of our coaching together.
Excellent, excellent. So on a scale of 1 to 10, how valuable, 10 being extremely valuable, how would you rank the assessment?
I guess 11, because I was expecting very little out of it. So it really surprised me with how useful it was. It was completely accurate, on the nose, and it saved a lot of time with us having like an initial session trying to cover all these different topics. It was just a great way to get the ball rolling and to build a good foundation for our coaching together.
Thank you for mentioning that, because that's why I really love to start my clients with the assessment. It can cut through 3 to 6 months of coaching because of the information it provides. So thank you for mentioning that. So here we are 6 years later. Can you believe it, Paul?
It's been a long time. Time flies when you're having fun.
It certainly does. So in regards to the Energy Leadership Index assessment, do you still use the concepts that you learned 6 years ago in your life today?
Absolutely. One of the values that I took away from that was the fact that I've done other types of coaching in my life. I've done other types of counseling, self-help, what have you. And typically the benefits stop the minute you stop participating in it. So at that point, a lot of times counseling, coaching, whatever, it can become a kind of crutch. Now, of course, that's not to say that anything we did would be per se trying to say that it's an alternative to regular medical counseling or medications or something like that. You never tried to present yourself as, you know, you don't need to also do these other things. You can just coach with me. It was something that was meant to work hand in hand with whatever your other health or medical treatments were. And I just felt like it was an essential component to my recovery, to what I needed. But not only that, but it was empowering in a true sense, meaning that when the coaching stopped, I didn't feel like, oh, where's Teresa? What am I going to do? I don't know how to handle the situation. You prepared me to be able to tackle those situations after, and that continues to benefit me to this day, where I'm still like finding myself relying on those same things I learned then to approach problems that I'm having today. So it does continue to pay off. It's been one of the most valuable things I've done for my life, if not the most valuable.
Excellent. Excellent. Thank you for that. And so you mentioned in the very beginning of our time together that even though we came together to help you with a health and wellness issue, you mentioned that many other parts of your life changed. Could you talk a little bit more about that?
Sure. So a number of things improved. I'd say, when I had approached you, I was really just focused on my business because that's always been the way that I am. I don't take a lot of time for self-care. I just I'm so focused and driven by what I do sometimes that I'm focused on what I need to do rather than what I need to do for myself. And that's why I sometimes will struggle. And even with that very strong focus that I always had, and there would always be those times you tell me, you got to take time for self-care. It's very important. It's essential. And just being able to remember to take that time for myself, besides having these weeks where I'm just working so much, I don't even remember to meditate or remember to even relax, do anything for myself. I'm noticing that my life seems to be more balanced. I'm having a day that's more full, a day where I'm not just working all day or I'm just relaxing all day. I'm having a full day where I'm accomplishing both. And I just say that was probably something that I'd say one of the greatest values that came from that is that I'm still seeing myself benefiting not just in my business, not just in my personal life, but like the whole big picture of how I live and go about my day. It's genuinely been improved.
Wonderful. That's so good to hear. Naturally, I love it because my philosophy, my goal is to get my clients to where they need to be, and then kind of like a mother bird, push them out of the nest and watch them fly. And you have certainly taken off, and you have flown. So over these past 6 years, I've watched your business life grow and morph. It's almost like you're a shapeshifter. As I recall, when we came together, you were actually employed, and it was a toxic relationship. And now you've just you seem as though, or at least it appears from my viewpoint, that whatever you put your hands on business wise, it's like magic. Can you give some input on that?
Yeah, so the best way to really talk about that is kind of coming back to what you were asking earlier about the benefits after the coaching. And I think that was something that I truly struggled with is I would go after these things, but I wouldn't really have the confidence to finish them myself. So I would be leaning on people like my toxic former business partner, like even you, when we started coaching, I would feel like I needed somebody else new to lean on. And again, if this was a standard type of coaching or therapy or the types of things that I'd experienced before and what I'd come to expect from those types of treatments, it would have just been another crutch. I would have gone from leaning on my toxic business partner to leaning on you. But what I discovered again through that type of empowering and through the skills I built up working with you and doing our coaching together was that I didn't have that need for the crutch anymore. And that's also empowered me in ways, especially with COVID, to be able to transform myself when needed to do different things. COVID was like the reset button for a lot of businesses, and mine was no different. And being able to develop that skill set to rebuild from the beginning, but also confidently and comfortably do it, knowing that I can do it again this time, you know? This most recent shape shift has brought me into cryptocurrency, and I'm doing better than I've ever done before in my life. And it's always great to be telling people that, and you feel like you're bragging that it's the truth. You know, I'm doing better than I've done before, and I'm constantly finding myself improving because of, again, the things that we learned during that initial coaching.
Excellent. Thank you. So, as you know, the reason that I asked you to meet with me today is because I've decided to devote a portion of my time to help other heart-centered entrepreneurs grow their businesses. It's my personal feeling that we are in a critical time for the planet. And so my goal is to assist heart-centered entrepreneurs in either strengthening their current business or getting started for those that, you know, don't know where to get started. I know how difficult it was for me to launch this business and make it a success. So based on your experience with me, if a business owner were to ask you, hey, Paul, do you think, you know, Teresa's services are valuable for a business owner? How do you think you would reply to that?
Absolutely. And again, I'd lean on the value that comes from overcoming that first obstacle, which is yourself, you know, and a lot of people get stuck on that. They don't realize that, you know, the universe is trying to give them what they want, that they're actually what they're doing, what they're thinking, what they're working towards, that it does have real value and that they'll get there. But sometimes it's that last minute where the world's about to give you what you want and you say no to it. And you don't realize you just said no to it, but you've just completely shut the door to opportunity because you're being led on autopilot by either limiting beliefs or some type of beliefs inhibiting you from getting to what you want. And I just felt like working together, we were able to conquer that first obstacle. And I would recommend to anybody who's dealing with those kind of issues to work with you, because that's how they'd be able to move forward and be able to manifest real change in their life.
Excellent. In closing, Paul, is there anything else you'd like to say to our audience?
There's a quote by Darwin that goes something like, it's not the strongest or the most intelligent of a species that survive, but those that are most adapted to change. As we deal with the COVID-19 pandemic and the crises that have hit our globe recently, it's important to remember that our ability to adapt and to transform is ultimately what's going to guide our success. I'm just so grateful that I was able to learn from somebody who prepared me and was able to educate me in ways that I could better adapt to the obstacles that I'd encounter in my life. I'm so grateful for having had that experience, and for having that experience would be the reason I would continue to recommend anybody to you, so they can be empowered to deal with the changes that they'll just have to deal with as they work their way through their lives, trying to create success and a vision of happiness for themselves.
just my heart just sings. My heart sings both for your success. I know you're married now, and you have a new home. So my heart sings for your success, and my greatest joy is watching clients like you turn their lives around into something truly amazing. And so it's with great joy that I thank you for your time today, and I thank you for this beautiful testament to my work. And as you know, anytime you feel that you need, we'll call it a booster shot, you know where to find me.
You've got it, of course. Thank you.
Okay, great. Thank you, Paul. Have a great day.
You too.
Bye now.
Bye.